Okay, hello. If you've never met me before, if we've never talked before, my name is Leanna. I am a coach, obviously. I'm a coach Carly is my upline. Team Root Your Rise is her team, and then my team name is Team Wholehearted. So it has been like such a long journey. I wrote so many notes here to help me, but basically, I'm just going to share all about my journey as a coach and like how I started in a very like rough place mentally and financially and all the things. Like I was the girl who you would never expect to be a coach or at least a successful one. And so I am so excited to like share my story with you because hopefully it can inspire you guys. Because if you have ever dealt with any of these things like self-limiting beliefs, anything that I will talk about, then hopefully like you can resonate with this. So I'm just going to start from the beginning. I would give you like more facts about myself, but I feel like it'll all like come out through my story. I mean, let's see, I'm a dog mom. I live in a tiny house, so like it's actually a renovated RV. If you can tell, maybe you can't, because we try to make it look like a real home. My husband is a musician. My dog is Lola. She's a pitty. If you've never seen my Instagram or anything, it's just Leanna Sowards if you're looking at me on Instagram. But I'm a certified yoga instructor. Now I'm a full-time coach. Yeah, that's a little bit about me. I love food. I love cooking. I love all things health and wellness. So, okay, I'm just going to start. Here we go. First, actually, I'm going to take a drink of water. So I originally started my like coaching career right after I did my first boot camp. I signed up with Carly as my coach. I did the 21-day fix. I think it was in the summer, like August. I honestly don't even remember what year. I think it was like 2015, maybe 2016. I don't remember. But I signed up to be a coach to get my discounts on the Shaco, right? Like anybody else. I literally was obsessed with Shaco. I had dealt with really bad like gut issues, IBS, just bad digestion symptoms since college. And so Shaco like totally helped me in ways that nothing else ever had. So she kind of coerced me into being a coach. I was like, I don't think I would be good at this. I would be terrible, blah, blah, blah. Like I had all my excuses, but she was like, no, like this would be perfect. I was actually going to school at the time. I was still in college for music and I was pursuing a music business degree, but basically I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to sing and perform. I wrote songs and recorded music. So that was like my big dream. But I mean, long story short, music just really didn't cut it for me, like career wise. When I moved to Nashville later on that fall, like right after signing up to be a coach. And I was like, I said, really in it for the discounts, not like taking it super seriously. And she was like, this could just be a thing you could do alongside music. So I moved to Nashville to like do this whole program away. And that is when it really became clear to me, like in those first few months that I like didn't know if I wanted my life to look like what a singer or what a musician's life looked like. So in those first few months, like if any of you guys are newer coaches, some things I like want you to think about or like take away from this season of coaching is, have you asked yourself those really big questions yet? And if you haven't yet, that is like where everything in this business starts. That's where I think every new coach needs to start, is asking those questions of like, who do I want to be? Number one, like who in my lifetime do I want to become? Right. And then number two, what do I want my life to look like? What do I want my future life to look like? And then does coaching help me get to those two things? Does coaching help me get to that person that I really want to be and to that life that I really want, in my future? And for me, when I started asking those questions as like this musician with these big dreams, I was like, well, I want a dog, I want a family, I want to travel, I want to, get my yoga certification, all these passions and loves for things that you can't really do while you're a musician. Like when you become a musician, it's really competitive. Like you have to go balls to the walls. Like you cannot do anything else with your life. Like you would have to put everything else on the side aside. And so I was kind of like, I don't really want to do that. And coaching, the way that I'm learning about it and hearing from all these other successful coaches and working through all these trainings, coaching seems to be this thing, this vehicle that can get me to my like life goal and the woman that I want to be someday. So I was kind of like, I'm going to take a break on the music stuff, and it's still a passion of mine, still a hobby, but I was like, I'm going to just like put it to the side for job wise. And I am going to, dive wholeheartedly into coaching. Sorry, I keep getting notifications. I'm going to make my screen full. So I was like, I'm going to dive into coaching and just like see what I can do with this and see if everything everybody's telling me is true. And if I can, you know, really turn this into some kind of career for myself. So I'm looking at my notes. Sorry, I don't want to miss anything. So I hit Emerald in November, which is like laughable to me because Emerald is so easy, you guys. Like if you haven't hit Emerald yet, you can do it tonight. You can do it tomorrow. Like it takes not that long, or it shouldn't take that long. And I think honestly, when people are struggling to hit Emerald, it's really, you're having some sort of mental roadblock. So you've really got to tap into like, what is that thing that's holding you back? What is the self-limiting belief? What is the thing making it, you know, hard for you to hit Emerald? Because Emerald shouldn't be hard. And for me, it was only hard because my warm market, my friends and family, all, you know, the people that are close to me, I guess, weren't super supportive, and I wasn't reaching outside of them. And so for me, Emerald was really hard because I wasn't getting creative. I wasn't thinking of a way to find other people outside of my initial immediate friends and family to support me with this. So eventually I hit Emerald by signing up a friend, and I think my mom like finally came around. She was super, super, super hesitant, as was I from the beginning. Honestly, I was very hesitant, but I was like, I can't lie. This stuff is changing my life, right? Like I cannot lie about the truth that my life and my health is being changed by this, right? Like that was a huge thing that helped me with posting on social media in the beginning, when I was super scared of what other people thought, when I was super hesitant with just the whole company. And like, I kind of thought it was a pyramid scheme, to be honest, but I leaned into all of that because I was like, I cannot lie about the reality that like my body is changing. I'm feeling better. Everything's changing. My mind is changing, right? So I finally hit Emerald in November, and honestly, it was because one of my friends hit Emerald on the team. We started working together, and I was super competitive, which I didn't even know at the time. So hit Emerald, and I was like so pumped. So one thing I want you guys to take away from this, like, which I wish I could have told myself when I was a new coach, is to stop waiting for like whatever it is that you're waiting for. And this might be one of those roadblocks if you haven't hit Emerald yet and you're like really pushing to. Something that might be holding you back is the belief that like, you know, I have to wait until I am blank in the perfect body, right? Or I have to wait until I have this many followers on Instagram, or maybe I can't like officially start until I feel 100% confident about posting on social media. Like guys, you will never get to that perfect spot. Like just think about your health journey. Like we've all been there where we've started out and been like, you know, I'm not good enough until I fit in a size 6 pants or whatever the size is for you, or until I get to this number on the scale. Coaching is the same way. There's no like magic that happens when you get to a certain point. It's literally about just like starting and learning as you go, like failing forward, right? Like that's one of my favorite lines that I say to my team and my coaches all the freaking time, is that you need to fail forward. So yeah, stop waiting for whatever it is you're waiting for and just start, because the only way to get to your hashtag life goal or hashtag personal self goal of like, you know, that dream you want to become and that life you want to have, is to start. Like you're not going to get there any faster, or any, you know, you're not even going to get there if you don't start. Like you have to start. So number 2, fill out the tracker. Like guys, when I started, I didn't have any sort of tracker, any sort of Success Club system tracker, any sort of like BAT. I'm sure Nicole has like shared that with you guys, or whoever your coach is, if you have a different coach. Make sure you're following that and filling that out every day, because like when you have questions or when you have hesitations or fears, like a lot of us new coaches do or did, the Success Club tracker and the BAT those are things that it doesn't matter if you have questions or hesitations. Like if you do the things, you will get the results, right? And the other thing I wanted to say is that the longer you wait to start and like kick off your business or like go wholehearted into something, is the longer you wait, the larger the fear inside you or the hesitation inside you grows, the larger it becomes. It's crazy. But if I would have, heard all of that on day, I feel like 5, I probably would have started getting into action rather than just like waiting and training and absorbing and being held back by all these self-limiting beliefs. And I didn't even hit Success Club until, I think it wasn't until January. So those first like 4 or 5 months of me just kind of like struggling, figuring out who I was, figuring out what I wanted with my life and where coaching kind of played into that. That was a beautiful time, but I think it totally could have, been shrunken down into like a 1-month period instead of 4 or 5 months. And I could have kicked off my journey like sooner. And that's what I always tell my coaches now is like all of this, because I'm like, if I can help you get to where you want to go 10 times faster than like how long it took me, then we've succeeded, right? The reason that you are on your journey today is because someday you're going to lead other people through their journey. And so everything you're going through is going to be something you can teach them and share with them. So yeah, just always be like grateful for your journey and where you're going, how fast or how slow you're going on it. But don't let yourself be held back by like these self-limiting beliefs that you have to be some specific, whatever, fill in the blank in order to start. Like you can start here now, today. Literally, it's just a decision. Same thing as January 1st, right? Like on January 1st, everybody's so pumped up about their health and fitness and they're like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to start. I'm going to do it, right? But like, what is the difference between January 1st and December 31st? It's your mind. It's all about your mindset. So like dive into PD and know that like if you decide to start today and be successful, you absolutely can be. Okay, moving on. I know that was like a lot of information right there. So if you guys have any questions, like please just throw them in the chat and then I'll read them over at the end. So Success Club started happening for me in January, and that was because, like I said, I made a decision. It was a mental shift. It wasn't that all of a sudden all these people I'd been inviting started saying yes. Like I had been doing the behaviors, the vitals, all the way up until January, but I wasn't doing them consistently. I wasn't doing all of them. Like I was very bad at it. I wasn't being disciplined. But in January, I was like, no more. Like I didn't hit Success Club in December and I cried about it. It meant that much to me because I was like, I really want to do this. And so in January, I was like, I don't care what I have to do, but I will show up and I will do the vitals and I will do everything my coach tells me. I will, we didn't have a tracker. So I just basically just followed the 4 vital behaviors every single day. And I was like, I will make it work. I will get to Success Club. And I did. So from January until like today, I have not missed a month of Success Club. And actually in February, I hit Success Club 10. So since that February, I haven't missed a month of Success Club 10. So I truly believe like once you make the decision to go all in and actually like do all the things, you will see the results, like it's just, there's proof in the pudding, right? Like my mom always used to say that. Oh my gosh. Okay. So after that season, like after January, life got crazier. Like I got busier. I actually dropped out of school. I think I was like a junior in college. And I know that might sound crazy, but I was like, my life goal is this, and a degree does not help me get to where I want to go. Coaching does. So that's what I did. I dropped out of school. I started my 200-hour yoga certification to get, certified as a teacher. And my kind of dream at the time was to be a coach, a full-time coach, and a yoga teacher on the side. So I was working as a barista at that time, and I was working like 30 plus hours a week. Like I was working a lot. My yoga certification was on the weekend, so I literally had no time. It was like 6 to 9 p.m. on Friday, 8 to 7 on Saturday, and then 8 to 4 on Sunday. So like the only time I had was like Sunday, 4 p.m. until like bedtime, like 10 p.m. or 11 or midnight, because I usually didn't sleep a lot back then during that season. But I did my bit, like I worked my business. I did all the things every single day. I did the vitals in the wee hours of the morning and the late nights. Like I did not sleep a lot. So really during that season, like what I want you to take away from this is I was I also got engaged. Like I finished my yoga certification. I was working a lot of hours with this job as a barista at a health food market. I got engaged, so I started planning a wedding. And then as the summer came, like life got even busier and crazier. And I was still coaching and I was still hitting Success Club 10, but I was like, how the heck do I, like make this work? And so what was kind of going into my mind was, this is my plan A. Like I really didn't have any other plan for my life in that moment. It was like, yeah, I have a hobby and a passion for all these other things, yoga and music, but like coaching was the one that was going to provide me the financial sustainability that I was really looking for all this time. So when life got crazier, I told myself that I was going to push harder against it. And really, like, what I want you guys to know, like, if you're in a busy season or if you're struggling because you're overwhelmed with so many jobs or so many things that you have to do, commitments, whatever, like, lean into the busy and know that it can be your reason instead of your excuse. So, like, instead of being like, oh, I'm so busy, like, how am I going to fit coaching into my life? Or like, how am I going to make the time to do my vitals or, get my workout in? Instead of having that kind of mindset, that's like more of a victim mindset. I want you guys to have the mindset of this victor that, like, because I'm busy, because it's hard to get my workout in, because it's hard to fit all of these things into my day, I'm going to work 10 million times harder so that that is not my reality anymore. So that my goal and my dream of this beautiful life and this person I want to become, that is my reality, right? So like in the hardest of hard seasons, the busiest of seasons, if you look at things like that, every night you're probably going to go to bed really drained and really tired, but you're also probably going to go to bed knowing that in 2 years it's going to all pay off, right? And you're going to feel so dang good because like, to your core, you are working toward this future dream that you have. Okay, so summer came and then life, like I said, it got even harder and busier. I was planning for my wedding. I was actually house sitting and dog sitting at the time as well. So I wasn't really living anywhere permanently. I was kind of like a nomad traveling all over the city. I live in Nashville, if I haven't told you guys that. So I was like, I put all my stuff in my best friend's house, which I met her through yoga teacher training. And so like all my crap was in her house. And then we were just, I was traveling from house to house, dog sitting and house sitting, and then going to be a barista and then teaching yoga classes. And I was doing a million things. Like it stresses me out just to talk about because now I'm a full-time coach and that's like all I do, and I hang out with my dog. But my parents were also super unsupportive of my engagement at the time. So like I told you guys, I initially hit Emerald with my mom signing up. So then she was like, no, like I'm actually going to quit because we were having a really hard time with our relationship in that moment or in that season. So the things that really kept me going and helped me to push through in literally the darkest time of my life. Like it's so funny because I chose to start my business and go all in January. And that is, I swear, that is like the hardest season of life I've ever experienced was January until January, like that whole year. But I just held on to like, I can do this if Carly can. Like she was my coach, Carly. And I kept seeing her, showing up and being incredible. And so I was like, oh my gosh, if she can do it, I can do it. Why not? And that was the other question I kept asking, like, why not me? If I'm going to stop or if I'm going to be held back or not do my vitals because of blank, blank, and blank, like, then I'm not going to get to where I want to go. So like, I know I can actually do it because all these other coaches have done it. So why not me? Like, make it happen. I kept like trying, pumping myself up, like, make it happen, Leanna, because you can do it. So that was the season I really just became so consistent with the vitals that I like swear I remember messaging my coach and I was like, I'm so overwhelmed. I have so many messages. I'm not like, I don't know how to answer them all. And it's because I was doing the vitals. I was reaching out. I was inviting. I was creating relationships and conversations. And so people were answering and then like wanting to sign up with me. And that's like such a huge blessing to have, but I was like overwhelmed by it. But it just goes to show, like, when you are doing all the right things, when you're doing the vitals, those are all the right things, you will get to a place of feeling overwhelmed by how many people want to sign up with you. Like that, it's amazing. But that, as business owners, that's what we need to do. We need to create the momentum for ourselves. If you're like, oh, nobody's signing up with me, I'm so frustrated, like, light a fire under your booty, go send out invites, go do all the things on the Success Club system tracker. And you are, in that sense, making it happen. Like, you are making the people sign up with you. You are making it all happen. You're making your dreams happen. You're making, this business work for you. There's literally no reason why, like, any of you guys can't make it happen. Like I've told you, if I can make it happen, literally anybody can. So become like so consistent with these vitals. I know I've like honed in on these over and over and over again, and I'm sure Nicole does too, but that's really because there's no secret sauce in this business. There's not like some overnight magic pill. It's not because somebody's prettier than someone else. It's not because I have a large social media following. I don't. Like, I literally have like 6,000 followers, and that is like a good number of people, but it took time to grow that. I started from like 0, and there are some coaches with like 100,000 followers, some with like 50,000. It does not matter how many followers you have. What matters is how well you are taking care of those people that are choosing to follow your journey, and how well you are getting them paired up with a program, right? Like, that is our goal, is to pair people with programs, provide a solution to their health problems. So no matter what your circumstances, like, no matter how busy you are, no matter how many followers you have, like, the only thing you should be following is the Success Club system tracker, doing the vitals, and then you'll see those results and you'll create more problems for yourself. There's a quote by, I think it was, what's his name? He's the guy who wrote Grant Cardone. He has this quote that when you're successful in business, when you start creating more problems for yourself every single day. And that might sound like a little backwards to you, but just think about it. When you sign someone up, you've just created a problem for yourself where you have to like give them information and time and continue building a relationship. Like, that's more problems, that's more work. But that's awesome because it means that you're succeeding. So, yeah, like I said, my mom quit during that season, and I was about to lose my Emerald because I didn't really know that you could sign people up with the coaching membership if they weren't going to be coaches. Like, at that time, I literally didn't know like the VIP discount membership was a thing. I don't even think it was just like popular in the community. I would only sign up people as coaches if they wanted to work the business. So I had like 0 coaches on my team, and I wasn't really focused on a team. I was really focused on like just getting people into health and fitness boot camps and getting them results. So when my mom quit, I was like so determined. I was like, this is not going to stop me. Like, another setback will not stop me from getting to where I want to go. So I called Chad, who is my husband, and at the time he was just my boyfriend, fiance. And I was like, what's your social security? I need to do something. I didn't even tell him what, but he was just like, oh yeah, like blah, blah. And I ended up signing him up, and I was like, this isn't his thing. This isn't about him. This is about me and like my future life. And someday it will be our future life. So I took it upon myself to sign him up to help me get to my goals. And then I paid for his account for him. Like, he became a part of my U+2. If you're a new coach, you can ask whoever your coach is what that really means. So that part of the story I think is so funny because it really just shows you like where I had gotten to mentally and how determined I was to make this freaking work. So like, know that if you have a significant other, a parent, a spouse, or a child that you can sign up and you haven't yet, and like you haven't tapped into doing that, like Nicole has probably told you or other coaches have told you to help you build your business, make sure you do that, because it is so, 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 so important in the long run to have another like family member who is ordering stuff or that you're paying to order their stuff so that you can eventually build their business. It doesn't matter like right now why, really. Some of you guys probably are diamonds or beyond maybe, and you already have done that. You totally get it, but it's so, so, so important. Let's see what else. Yeah. So I paid for those 2 accounts. I paid for myself and for Chad's account. And I've literally never stopped paying for it. I mean, we're married now and our bank accounts are combined and our incomes are combined, but it's still coming out of my Beachbody paycheck, which is so cool because it just goes to show you, even if you didn't have like a significant other that was super supportive, or, you know, if you had to sign up your mom and just pay for the stuff and like order extra for yourself and she wasn't supportive, but she would let you like sign up using her name and her social security, you have the ability to pay for both of those accounts and then eventually build it, you know, to a point where it's like nothing to pay for those 2 accounts, right? Like in the beginning, that was so scary for me, like financially, to make an investment. Like I paid for a challenge pack for him. And then like, yes, you're getting a commission off of that, but it's scary in the beginning. And so just know, like, you can absolutely do it. Even if you have like nobody supportive, you can at least get a family member to like give you their social security number and, you know, allow you to use their name to build a separate account. Like you can absolutely do it. Okay. So that summer I went to Summit and I met everyone for the first time. A lot of my doubts and fears got like written off because I was like, whoa, real people. Carl Deichler's on the stage. He's the CEO. This is amazing. Darren O'Lean, the creator of Shakeology, he was there. Like I saw everybody in person. And so I was just like, this is real. Because up until then, it had only been virtual. So really, you know, Summit was huge for my business in the first time I went, because it made everything real. And everyone on my social media who had been following my journey was like, whoa, like it's real. Like they started believing in it too, right? So if you haven't gone to Summit and you're a new coach, or, you know, if you can't go or something, that stinks, but make it a priority. Like make it a non-negotiable that you have to get to Summit, because it will not only blow up your own beliefs and like confidence in this business, but it'll blow up your social media. It'll blow up your signups. Like it's so good for your business, and your ticket is a write-off, right? And travel and all the things you do there and pay for while you're there. Okay. So later in the summer, I got married and I was still like doing the vitals every single day. We went on our honeymoon, and Chad was like a little upset with me. He's like, babe, I don't want you working. Like, I know you do this whole coaching thing. He didn't even really understand it at the time, but he was like, I don't want you working on our honeymoon. And I was like, wait, I have to work on my honeymoon, right? Like, these are my vitals. I have to do them every single day. We were only gone for like, I think 6 days, maybe 7 days, but I found a way to do it. I actually made a YouTube video. So if anybody else is like going on a trip and you're a newer coach, I think it is so important in those first 1 to 2 years to not take a day off of your business. Like, I think the only day off I took from my business, you know, I still posted, I still showed up on social media. Maybe I didn't answer messages that day or emails, but I still like sent my invites, you know, I did that stuff, was the day I got engaged. So like even on our honeymoon, I was working out, I was drinking my Shakeo, like mixing it up with water. I was making a post every day. I was posting on stories. Stories had just come out, so that was actually kind of new. And I wasn't on my phone the whole day. You know, it was just like we'd wake up in the morning and here and there, little breaks, he'd go to the bathroom and I'd be like, oh, post, you know. I wasn't answering a ton of messages, but again, like I was still like connecting with people and engaging with stories. And then I knew that when I got home from my honeymoon, I had to hit it hard and like, you know, go ham, because I had to make up for those 5-6 days of like not inviting a ton and not messaging a ton. But I was still showing up on social media. So that's like the thing I want, you know, to come across as very important, is that you have to show up, because if within the first 2 years of building your business, you just decide that like you can take a weekend off or like go, you know, MIA on social media, it's okay to take a couple hours off. Like it's totally okay to take a break and a breather, but it's very important for you to just show up and be present, even on a vacation, even on a honeymoon, even whatever you're doing, because you're building trust and you haven't gotten to a point in your business where people trust that you aren't going to go away for forever, right? They trust, like when you're showing up, no matter what, they trust you so much more. And they're like, this is the girl I want to sign up with, because I know she's never going to go away. And she's always, you know, going to be here committing to all of this and committing to me and helping me on my journey. So yeah, like ask yourself, what are my non-negotiables? And, am I willing in the first 1 to 2 years, am I willing to make those business non-negotiables happen every single day? You don't have to be perfect with it. Like, I'm not saying you have to be perfect at all. I've always had like really good days and really bad days, but just ask yourself, am I willing to make that commitment? Because going all in means making that commitment. So you have to find a way, and there's so many tools and resources that'll help you find that way. Like I said, I made a YouTube video on how I did it because I was really stressed out about it, but I was like, I know I have to show up. I have to figure out how. So yeah, that November, so that was 1 full year later when I signed up, my coach brought Diamond to my attention, and I was like, what the frick is Diamond? I was very confused. Again, I was not focused on building a team. She was a really new coach too. Like, she built her business really fast. And so I was just like following her and like whatever she did. But when she brought Diamond up to me, I was like, okay, like I'll try to hit it. Like, what's Diamond? So she brought it up, and then what I realized is like, it is so simple. Diamond, it can be hard because it's 8 people total, but it's so simple. So a few months later, I did 2 Diamond push groups, and I really, I built my husband's account to Emerald, and I gave myself a challenge because I took forever to hit Emerald. And so I was like, well, I should write a news story for hitting Emerald, and I should show my coaches on my team now how fast I can hit Emerald. And this can be a future story that I can share with my other coaches, right? To encourage them that, Emerald is so easy and so simple. Look, like I just did it. So I made myself a little challenge. I was like, 48 hours, I'm going to hit Emerald in Chad's business. And I did. Signed up my mom again. We had patched things up. So my mom has signed up again, signed up my brother, and boom, like I hit Emerald. So I really learned, the speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. Like, however fast you do things in your business, whatever your coaching story or journey looks like is kind of going to be a blueprint for your coaches. So if you ever did something you didn't like me, where I took Emerald, it took me freaking 4 months to hit Emerald, and it took me a full year to hit Diamond. I know for a fact it can take 1 month to hit Diamond and 1 day to hit Emerald. And so, like, no matter what your story is, like, speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. So whatever you tell your girls is the norm, that's what they're going to think is the norm. And you are able to give them a new blueprint and say, hey, I messed up, but like, look, you don't have to. Or, if you're a new coach, you don't have to mess up. Like, you can just do it. You can just go out and make it happen. And your coaches moving forward will have this blueprint of like, this is what they got to do. This is where they got to go. So in May, actually, right, a few months after I hit Diamond, I quit my job as a barista because I was only making like $1,200 a month, and I was like making $1,000, I think, with coaching. And so I was like, okay, $200 difference. I can absolutely quit my job and like make up for that. And maybe I can even work a little bit more and make even more. And I remember the day I like opened up my paycheck a few months into being full-time as a coach, and I was still teaching yoga on the side, but like, you don't really get paid anything with yoga. So that didn't even really count. But I remember opening up like my back office, and it said $600 for 1 week. And I was like, I started bawling my eyes out, and I was like, holy crap. Like, it works, like I quit my job and I started spending all the extra time I had, or all the 30 hours I was working, into my coaching business. So I was basically 10xing my efforts. I just didn't even know that I was. And my income grew. Like, I was making, I think like 1,800 or something like that per month, whatever, because I was like, if I'm making $600 in a week, every week for 4 weeks, if I kept that up, like if I keep doing the amount of work that I'm doing, 10xing all my efforts, like that could be huge for us, financially, because we didn't make anything. Like, my husband is a musician. He doesn't make anything, but that's okay, right? Like, he's following his passion and I'm following mine. So I like loved having those milestones, those challenges for myself. And I loved, like, even though it scared the living crap out of me to quit my job, because the money wasn't there when I quit my job, I knew that the coaching potential was there. And I knew that I could get there if I just worked my little booty off. And so Like, don't be afraid to put your back up against the wall if that's what it takes for you to like level up. Because I was definitely in a season where I was getting a little bit comfortable with my business. You know, I had been hitting Success Club 10 plus consistently. I knew how to sign people up. I knew how to post on social media. I knew how to run boot camps, but I was like, you know, I hit diamond and then I was like, well, now I got to go hit 1 star. Like, how the heck am I going to do that? And everything beyond diamond is so simple again, because you're literally either teaching your own coaches how to hit diamond for themselves, or you are hitting diamond. You know, if you have an account that you control, like my husband's, you know, I'm helping him build his account to diamond basically. So very, very simple beyond diamond. And everyone gets, you know, their panties in a wad because they're like, 1 star is so scary, 2 star, but it's not. You're literally just recreating everything that you just did. So diamond and beyond is actually where it gets really, really fun, because it becomes about duplication instead of you like having to figure out all these new things, right? So when you get to that spot where you're getting a little comfortable, you know how to do things, and then you have to push the boundaries, like, don't be afraid to put your back up against the wall. Like, I'm not saying go out and quit your job right now, but I'm saying if, you know, that is where you're at and maybe that's the thing that's going to push you to level up, then don't be, you know, don't be afraid of doing that, taking the leap of faith and challenging yourself a little bit. So that summer I was full time, and literally, I swear, like, that is when all the light bulbs went off in my business. Like, I started reading the 10X rule. I was already doing the 10X rule, like behaviors. But my mindset was really like, if I build this structure, if I build this team, because when you're at diamond, you're really building a team, right? So I was like, if I'm building this, they will come. And I had to be okay. I had to get comfortable with going first, because as a leader, you have to be okay with being alone at the top, right? Like, you have to be there for a while at the top, building your structure and trusting that they will come, building this team, this culture, this community. And you might not find your lifers right away. Like, it took me those first 2 years in the business, it took me that long to find my lifers, because it wasn't until fall after, so like I went full time in the spring, and then fall came, summer I was learning all about like time management, being organized, being my own CEO, like literally working from home and controlling all of my time. It gets a little messy when you first go full time. And so then I found like 3 girls, and they were like my lifers, and I knew it because the other girls I had worked with before as coaches, trying to help them build a business, like it was just all excuses. And they would come up with this life vision stuff that I've walked you guys through, and then they would just throw it out the window because the activities they had to do were too scary or too uncomfortable or, you know, too frustrating. And so, like, no, if that's the season you're in, like if you are building this team and trusting that they will come, if you haven't found your lifers yet, like, no, there's a really good book on this. It's called Built to Last, I think is the name of it. It's by Keith Callahan. And it's all just about like your lifers, your tribe is out there. Whatever you're trying to build, like your people are out there. But sometimes you can walk into the room. He gives this metaphor of like diamonds under hats, and you're in like an auditorium or a stadium. And he said like those diamonds are your lifers, right? So like you're walking through this room, you might pick up 100 hats before you find one lifer, right? But that doesn't mean you're not going to get to the person. You're not going to find your tribe. It's just a matter of time. So that was when, you know, I finally found my lifers, and I was like, thank you, Lord above. Like, I have been looking for these people that are like me. And really, I started getting curious about like, well, why haven't they come yet? You know? And so I started asking questions like, what have I been posting? You know, what have I been trying to attract? Because you attract what you are, not what you want to be, right? Cassie Biltz just said that on the team call last Monday, if you guys were on. So good. So I finally learned, you know, I need to love these people that are not so much my tribe and giving me all these excuses, and that I'm like dragging through the mud because they don't want to like, they don't want to put their excuses aside and just do this. And so I had to love on them and just let them go and just let them do their thing. And most of them actually like ended up taking a step back from coaching the moment that I stopped like pushing or dragging them forward. And most of the girls that I signed up that were my lifers started leveling up because they were like, oh, like she's serious. Like she's working with only the people that are leveling up with her. So that caused them to want to level up right alongside me. So that's when I got really specific on social media about like who I wanted on my team and to be a part of my tribe. And I was really focused on being that person every single day so that I could attract them to me, right? So, you know, I also started learning like I deserved better. I think I had this mindset of like, I'm just going to throw everything out there on social media and like call everyone to join my team because I'm scared that if I really ask the people I want, they're going to say no. And so like that was just a form of fear living in me. And, you know, it took me just finding a few people that were really awesome that I was afraid to invite, but that I did. And they said yes, to actually realize like, oh, those are the people I should be inviting and like reaching out to all the time, you know, the people that are just like you. And there should be no fear behind asking those people because they're just like you, right? Like they're going to resonate with you and who you are. So, you know, January came 2019, this past year, and like a fire was lit under my booty. I had, you know, stripped away so many of the people that like weren't really a part of my team. Like my team Wholehearted culture, I laid it out and I was like, I want it to be about this, 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 and this, and that, right? Like we're nomads, we're travelers, we're yogis, we're dog mamas, like all these things. And we, you know, are about integrity and leadership and growth and no excuses. And those were the people that I was finding. And those were the other people who weren't like that. Like I was letting them go. So 2019, I was like, let's do it. Like, let's freaking hit elite. I actually set a goal to hit 10-star diamond for us in the beginning of the year. And that's what my coach had done. Like in a year, she like hit diamond to 10-star. So I was like, again, why not me? Like if she can do it, I can freaking do it. So that, you know, that was my plan. And what I really learned, like overarching theme for 2019 is that whatever goal you set for yourself, dream a little bit bigger than that, maybe like a lot bigger than that, because we underestimate the amount of work it's going to take to get to a goal. So like I was aiming for 10-star, but all the work that I did and put in ended up landing us at 6-star by the end of the year, which is still like freaking amazing, right? But I learned that the work that something is going to take, like if you're making diamond to be out like this big scary thing, you're probably, you know, putting in a level of work that's like for an emerald coach. And so that's like why you're not getting there. So sometimes we just need to challenge ourselves to like dream really, really, really big and then really get curious and question, is my level of work that I'm putting in actually going to get me to my goal? You know, like we can even reverse engineer those goals to figure it out. So I learned, you know, it's amazing to shoot for the moon and land among the stars. Like I basically shot for the moon last year and I ended up landing among the stars, but this year, like I want to shoot for the moon and land on the moon. So I'm learning like what my activities need to be like, you know, what effort of all the things do I need to put in to get to where I want to go with that. But I can tell you guys, like, hopefully this will be an encouragement as you go, like throughout your coaching career and your coaching journey. Like just the longer you're on it, the more fun it gets, the more wonderful people you find and truly get to connect with, like the more best friends you cultivate, and the more fun the business gets because less things are brand new and more things are like just reflecting and, oh, how did I do that? Oh, that was awful. That was good. You know, you're analyzing every month and just trying to make the next one better. When you're a new coach, like those first 2 years, I feel like are really, really hard because not only are you struggling, probably like financially, at least for me, I was, and you're also struggling with belief. You're struggling with like self-limiting beliefs. Like you're just struggling with a lot of things and a lot of naysayers and, you know, non-supporters. So like buckle down and like become a badass for your first 2 years of the coaching journey, because like whatever you have to go through and get through in those first 2 years will strengthen you and build you up into the person that you need to be, you know, moving forward and that you want to be, right? Like in the beginning of this call, I said like, who do you want to be? And is coaching going to help you get there? And what do you want your life to look like? And is coaching going to help you get there? Right? So like, no, this journey you're on, no matter how hard or, you know, scary or whatever it's been, it is truly redefining you into who you want to be. So like, don't ever get upset about the journey. I know you can, you know, we all have emotions. We all have bad days and good days, but remember, like, take a step back and be like, all of these trials and this stuff that I'm facing is for a reason. It's bringing me into who I want to be, and it's getting me to where I want to go, this future life, right? What is that saying? I always use this quote on social media. It's like, why do we love the easy things so much when hard is what causes us to grow? And we like ourselves better when we grow, right? So like, we should be leaning into the hard stuff every freaking day. Like with our health journeys, why do we like the easy workout programs? Those are the ones we never get any results from. The hard ones, the challenging ones, the following the meal plan to the best of our ability, that's hard. But if you do it, you grow and you become so much better, right? So I just want to encourage you guys, like, your coaching journey. Last year for me, 2019, I went from diamond to a 6-star diamond coach team. I say a 6-star diamond team because it's really not about me. It's like all about my girls, the leaders on our team. But that year, like, that was when things got fun, like I said, because I got to teach them how to do it better than I did. I got to step into this role of leadership, and it's just so much fun to work with your best friends. Like, if you haven't found your tribe yet, if you haven't found your team, when you get to do that, when you guys all get to hustle together and you get to, you know, be down in the work with them, it's just so much fun. It's the best. So like, last year was hard and we didn't, you know, hit our goal of 10-star, but we went so far. And so I'm just focused on refining and doing things even better. Like, every month, I just want to be better than I was last month. And I want our team to hit higher numbers than it did last month, to help more people than it did last month. So now that's where I am, like, today, 2020, my goals are like, I really want to focus on organization because I'm a free spirit, if you can't tell, and I really struggle with that. I'm following like a planner to a T. I'm using a social media planner. I am really getting strategic with managing my time and trying to be more efficient with it, because even after being full-time for a full year now, I can definitely say time management is hard. And if you're not following your planner to a T and like scheduling out what you're going to do and when you're going to do and how long you have to do those activities, like, I could spend 4 hours inviting people and get like 10 done. But if I like set a timer, you know, for 30 minutes, I could get like 30 done if I'm like, you know, in this mindset of like, pressure's on, I got to work. So those are the things I'm working on now. I know that was like so much information and a lot in a small amount of time, and probably a little longer than maybe your typical call. I don't know how long these usually go, but hopefully it was helpful. If you guys have any questions, like, there's not that many of us on, you can unmute yourself. You can shoot them in the chat. Let's see. Sarah had a question. What do you do to show someone coaching is awesome and they should do it too? So whenever I want to share the coaching opportunity with someone, I just did this last week. I hosted a coach workshop. But what I do is I typically look at them and say, what qualities do they have that would make a really awesome coach? Like, for me, I think awesome coaches, you know, are people that are either already in a boot camp and are already killing it. You know, are they posting on social media consistently? Are they, you know, what are their goals? Do they want to live a life where they can work from Wi-Fi, where they can travel? You can ask them their goals. Be like, you know, what's your life goal? What's your dream in life? Like, what's the big dream for you? Because a lot of people I've talked to on social media have said like, oh, I just want to be able to have flexibility or freedom, or I just want to be able to travel. You know, when you ask people that question, they'll tell you what their values are. When you find out what their values are, you can somehow insert coaching into the mix, right? Because I personally believe coaching could help everyone get to their goals in some form or fashion. But like, if it's a challenger who simply, like, they have a job they absolutely love, they don't want to quit, and it's like a full-time job, and maybe it's just a hobby for them, right? Like, maybe they just want to help people change their lives and like pay this forward and get their Shaco on a discount and paid for, right, with the signups that they get. So it really just depends on the person like showing them how coaching is awesome. But I would say like get really, have a conversation with them, get clear, ask like what are their goals for their health and their life, and just ask, tell them what you think they're doing good that a coach does, like you're already doing this, and coaches do this. A lot of girls I follow on social media where I'll like invite them to the coaching opportunity. Usually their values, like I can tell, are travel from their social media, and they're kind of like nomads too, or, maybe they live tiny. And so I'll usually ask, what do you do for work? And sometimes they'll say, oh, I work this like job and it's in one spot, but I'm looking for remote work. So I'm always like, oh my gosh, girl, like why haven't we ever talked about coaching, right? Like what I do. So yeah, that's a really easy way. I don't know, does that answer your question? I don't know if she's still on here. Yes. So if that answers you, hopefully. Otherwise, like if you're just talking in general, an awesome way to share about coaching on your stories, is just like, what do you love about it, right? Like show people why it's awesome for you and your life, and then talk about that on your stories and make posts about it, and people will start to see it and start to hear it. And what is that thing I recently heard? It's like from some advertising company. They said a person has to see something 20 times before they can even show interest in it. So it's like if you're just showing up in people's feeds talking about coaching and how it's changing your life and how it's helping you, they will eventually be like, coaching, what is that thing? I've heard about that. And then eventually they'll be like, oh, I'm curious, and they'll hop into your workshop, and then they'll get a chance to find out like if it's for them or not. So hopefully that was helpful for all of you guys. Thanks for hanging on with me so late. I know some of you guys are Eastern Standard Time. I'm in Central Time, so it's a little earlier. But if you don't have any more questions, I'm gonna get a little selfie real quick. Yay. Okay, guys, have a great rest of your night. Thanks so much for hanging with me. We'll talk to you all soon, hopefully. Bye.